What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anthony, actor, director, and cinematographer. And today I want to talk about something that, a lot of us as filmmakers in the space, especially the indie space, think about a lot. How do I make a short film with literally $0? Now, if you're any sort of creative, whether you're a writer, a painter, actor, you've probably experienced this before in your creative career. There are times where you just don't have the extra cash, especially nowadays, to fund your project, right? We don't have the money to go rent gear. We don't have the money to pay our actors, which, side note, you should always pay your actors. But you understand what I'm saying, that there's just some times where you have this idea and this need to create, but you don't necessarily have the funds. Especially if you're just starting out as a filmmaker, it's very hard to get money. And if you don't just have an excess of cash lying around, you may not have enough money to go ahead and make your short film. So what do you do? How do you make your short film with no money? Well, there are a few things that you can do to go ahead and get started, even though you don't have a budget. When we think about making a short film, and in other videos where we've discussed this topic, one of the things that we talked about is how important lighting and sound is versus the highest end camera that you can possibly get. Now, when it comes to that idea, there are a few things that you can do to get really cinematic lighting for little to no money. One of the first things you can do is utilize natural light, right? Everyone has access to the sun. And if you know how to use it at the right times, you can get some really cinematic images with no lighting at all. Now, what I mean by utilizing the sun at the right time, when it's midday and the sun is right above head, probably not the best time to film because you're going to get really dark shadows coming straight down. You're going to get not the softest lighting, especially if it's a really clear day. But if you're able to shoot early in the morning when it's golden hour or later on in the afternoon when the sun is setting, you can get these really cinematic shots with nice shadow, a nice roll off on the face, without using any lights at all. There are tons of travel vloggers or, people who are shooting outdoors that use this technique and get some amazing images. So even if you don't have a budget and you don't have enough money for lighting or you don't even have the space for lighting, don't let that stop you. You can use natural light. You can use practical lights on set, kind of like this back here that I'm using, this warm light back here. That's just a lamp that my fiance had lying around and I just put it in the back, right? These are all things that you can start thinking about as a cinematographer, as a creative, to kind of fine tune that image that you're getting, even if you don't have a budget. Now, for audio, there are a few things you can do there as well. Let's say you don't have the money to go buy a nice new mic, or you don't have, the space for an entire audio setup. That's okay. We live in the year 2025, and I guarantee you there's a ton of free AI tools out there that can help you with this, right? There are tons of tools out there that you can use to EQ your audio. You can remove background noise from your audio, even if it isn't the most professional sounding professional sounding microphone. And all of this is just going to up your quality, right? If you've got great lighting, you're using the natural light, it's at the right time of day, you've got an okay microphone, but you know how to set the EQ, you know how to remove the background noise, all of these things, you're like 90% of the way there to getting a cinematic image with no money at all. So think about these things when you're planning your next shoot. And then finally, one of the last things you can do is stop worrying about the camera that you're using. I promise you, I get messages every day in my Instagram of people asking, "Oh, what camera did you use for that shoot? What lens are you using? Oh my gosh, this image is so great. What are you using?" And 9 times out of 10, the gear that I'm using is not what's making the image, right? It's the composition. It's the lighting. It's knowing the movement of the camera angle where it's motivated. All of those things play a bigger factor in creating cinematic images, more so than the sensor that you're using. I know a lot of people who work in the industry who are filming things for clients now on iPhones, just because it's portable, it's light, they can go really fast, run and gun. And at the end of the day, they're getting these really cinematic shots on a phone. So all of that to say is that if you've got a phone in your pocket, I don't care how old it is, the camera on it is probably pretty good. And if you can go shape the light, you can shape the audio alongside that footage on your phone, you can make your short film. Now, for an example of this, my first short film that I directed and wrote, we shot the entire thing on iPhone. Now, that film unfortunately never released, but that's because of other separate issues. But we were able to shoot an entire film over 3 days on an iPhone. And the images that we were getting were pretty good. And the act of going and shooting on my phone, even though at that time I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a lot of lights, all I had was really just a reflector and my phone. That taught me so much about directing and composition and how to set up a shot just because I went out and did it. I got hands on with it, right? So, all of this to say, if you're waiting for that gear to come through or you're waiting to save up for that gear before you go and shoot your short film, you don't have to, right? It doesn't take that much money to go and shoot something and tell a story. As we've talked about on this channel before, the most important thing for a short film or a creative piece or anything that you're doing is the story and the character that you're trying to portray through that piece. So if you've got a phone and you've got maybe a reflector and you've got access to the sun, you can make a short film. So write something, write it down, write a short story, just a quick 60-second short film. It doesn't have to be long, just something in that time frame. And then go out and shoot it this weekend. Take the footage back from your phone, edit it, and see what you could do better the next time. That's going to teach you so much more about cinematography and filmmaking than reading and watching YouTube videos, right? So go out there and make something, right? Now, if you like this video and you like this kind of information, this kind of format, don't forget to like and subscribe and click that bell icon down below. And as always, go out there and make something cool. I dare you.